don't want those ashy elbows. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Tell me. I can't do any intros. I can't do music intros because, Mark Zuckerberg and his homeboys, they shut you down. And then they say to you, you're playing copyrighted music. So now I've had to resort to either singing my own intros or just being mute until you guys show up. Build an audience. Do something. Guys, I hope you're well. Happy Saturday. It's a fantastic Saturday morning. Please tell me in the comments below if you can hear me. Johnny, I see you. Pumulo, I see you. Thank you so much. Pitsine, Chisha, hey, you're late. This is 1324. Trust Facebook. Trust your audience. As soon as you post, look, I'm going to be on my live at 1320. God forbid that you show up a minute after the time that you posted. Honey, they will make you feel like you have committed the unpardonable sin. How dare you, mwewa? This is 1324. You told us you're going to be here at 1320. What time do you call this? It's called accountability, and I really appreciate you for holding me accountable, okay? Thank you for that, and I'll do better, okay? Let me commit today to doing better. Can we do that? Thank you so much. By the way, guys, this is a side note. Before I say that, do you think this tie goes with the shirt? I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt it. It's one of these deals I picked up the other day, and I had the shirt in mind. The only thing, though, is that I don't think that the tie goes with the shirt. Am I over worried? Am I over gassing it? Am I reaching? Tell me if I'm reaching. Tell me in the comments below if this shirt goes. If it doesn't go, tell me now so that I take it off and I toss it. Not really. I wouldn't do that. Okay, just so you know. Somebody's watching from the Ukraine. Simon Monga, are you really from the Ukraine? Are you really watching? Because, with Facebook, you never know. I mean, somebody jumps on and says, I'm from New Orleans. I'm watching you right now from New Orleans. I'm on Bourbon Street. I'm in the middle of Mardi Gras. I got beads all over the place. I got people dancing. But I'm in New Orleans. You never know. You just never know. Here it is. Oh, I'll tell you what. This is Prue. Prue says, no, the tie isn't working. Unbelievable. You see what I have to contend with? Honestly, do you see what I have to deal with on a regular daily basis? Here it is. I walked out of the house thinking the tie works. I get to my office. I turn on my lights and camera. Boom. You got Prue. Prue says to me, Mr. Mwewa, no, the tie is not working. What am I going to do? Do you honestly think that I'm going to rip it off and toss it? I'm not doing it. I'm not tossing it, okay? The tie stays. All right, guys, I'm going to be with you just a few minutes. I'm not going to be here long. Oh, by the way, before we get into it, did you guys hear about the prime minister of, what was that? Was that Finland? Tell me in the comments below. One of the youngest female prime ministers over there in Finland. Finland. Is it Finland? The Finnish lady. The prime minister lady. The lady that was caught on video parting her head away like there was no tomorrow. Did you guys see that? And then now there's this big spiel about, she shouldn't be partying. Was she on drugs? Wasn't she on drugs? And now she's come out and she's admitted that she did take something, but this was her attempt to justify it. She said, well, I was with my friends and I was just having a good time. Now, there are two sides to this story. There's some of you that believe that, young leaders should be just that, young leaders. They should live a realistic, regular life. I disagree with that. I believe that as a leader, you are held to a higher standard. Ooh, that's a good one there, boy. Boy, tell you what, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. As a leader, you are held to a different standard, a higher standard. Now, of course, if you don't want to be held by a higher standard or to a higher standard, don't be a leader. Go out and, shuck corn or something. You know what it is to shuck the corn? You guys know what the shuck the corn is? Yeah, that's an old Southern expression. If you don't want to be held to a higher standard, go out and wash cars on the side of the street. But as long as you call yourself a leader in any organization, or in this case, country, automatically we hold you to a higher standard. And so when you do stuff like that, and then it's recorded, of course people are going to get upset. It doesn't mean that people are supposed to be perfect. It just simply means you're a leader, so you have to be held to a higher standard. That's all I'm saying. Tell me in the comments below if am I reaching? Am I saying too much? Am I overgassing it? Tell me now. Bless you. Tell me now, guys, if I'm overdoing that. Vincent says, yeah, before she said not, just having a good time with friends. She did. And then because of the pressure, she had to just say, I did take a little something. I broke off a little something. So, anyway, guys, there's something I need to talk to you guys about. I know I touched on it yesterday. I'm going to touch on it today. And this is my reaction to President Hakainde Hichilema's Hot FM interview yesterday. Did you guys happen to see that? Now, the first thing that jumped out to me very clearly was this. Clearly, we have a president in office that knows what he's talking about in terms of getting our economy back on its feet. I mean, you have a man that really has his vision at his fingertips. And anytime you give him a platform to expound, to sort of propagate his vision, he will do it. You understand? And he did. Now, as much as I enjoyed that interview, and I did, I just want you to know that I did. As much as I enjoyed it, the truth is I felt, and I said this yesterday, and I will say it again today, I felt that the interview was it wasn't a bit too long. It was very long. That interview was 2.5 hours long. Too long. Hot FM and State House dropped the ball on that issue. Folks, you can't sit and talk to a head of state for 2.5 hours. What is this, the Copacabana? No. 1 hour max is more than adequate. 1 hour max is more than sufficient. 1 hour max is perfect. Anything beyond that is too much. Now, anytime you get someone like President Hakainde Hichilema on a platform, if you let him talk, honey, he's going to talk until the sun comes down. You know why? Because he's got lots to say. He's got lots of experience under his belt. He's got lots to share with the electorate in terms of where he wants to take this nation, in terms of how he's going to, along with his team, help this nation get back on its feet. He's got a lot to say, and he will say it. But if you, as the interviewer, you let the head of state talk, honey, he's going to talk till the sun comes down. So here's what you do. Hot FM with State House, they should have sat down and said, Mr. President, this is how we're going to structure this interview. Not necessarily tell the president or give him the questions beforehand. This president doesn't need that. He's prepared in season and out of season. He knows his stuff. Okay, but what I'm talking about is you have to have a structured arrangement. You can't. This is what I got yesterday. I got the sense that Hot FM felt within themselves. They felt, you know what? This is the only time in a very long time that we're going to sit with this particular president. So why don't we, since we have him here, and since he's sitting right in front of us, let's ask him every question ever known to man. Let's throw him the kitchen sink. Let's throw him the hard brick wall. Let's play him every voice note that's ever been recorded from every single solitary Zambian citizen since the beginning of time. And let's see if we can have him answer questions that ail and that challenge humanity. Well, you're not going to have it all done in one fell swoop. It has to be structured. Guys, do you need me, honestly, to tell you that on social media, the attention span is very small, it's short. Very, very, the little tiny window of opportunity. So you got to get while the getting's good. 1 hour for a head of state is more than enough for him to articulate his vision. 1 hour. So moving forward, no pun intended, moving forward, all media houses, my advice to State House and all of these would-be media houses, when you're going to speak to the head of state, structure it. 1 hour is enough. He can say whatever he needs to say within that 1 hour. It'll be fine. Okay? Do you agree with that? Tell me in the comments below if you guys agree with that. This is David Lungu says, true, the integrity of the office is packed by the 2 hours of talk. Oh, no. Okay. David says 1 hour is not enough. Yes, it is. 60 minutes is adequate. For a head of state, 60 minutes is more than enough, honestly. And of course, lastly, John Mwewa says true. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is, and you guys know this, one of the notable points in the interview was this controversy about what the US dollar was trading for or trading at during President Hakainde Hichilema's when he took over office. One of the interviewers suggested that the dollar was at 15 kwacha. President Hakainde had a different figure in his mind. He said 22. Now, yesterday I did a show where I told you, I really did. I thought I'd done my research. Of course, obviously I didn't do, my research was not as extensive as it should have been. I came and I gave you a figure of 15 kwacha. I did some extra research and I found out that at the time, August the 24th, and here it is, I'll throw it up here for you. At the time, the US dollar was actually trading at 16 kwacha, 16.7 kwacha on August the 24th, 2021. That was the day that President Hichilema took over office, okay? You remember the elections were on the 12th of August? He was sworn in, he took over office on the 24th of August. Well, on that particular day, the dollar was trading at 16.7. Now, the president, he misspoke when he said that the dollar was trading at 22. And of course, that's you can argue about that. You can argue with the figures, you know. But the point is, it doesn't matter what the dollar was trading at. Even if it did trade, let's assume it traded at 15. So what? So what? And here's my question to you. Here's my question to you. Even if it did trade at 15 kwacha, which it didn't, we all know now we know that it was trading at 16.7. Okay, at the time. Even if it was trading at 15 kwacha, does that negate the fact that the PF was a criminal organization? It doesn't. It doesn't negate that. No, it doesn't. No, it does not negate the fact that the PF were a criminal organization. And let me just be clear here. The word negate means to reverse, just so you guys know. Okay? Are you with me on that? Another question here. Here it is. I'll get it right in a moment. Yeah, so it doesn't negate the fact that the PF were a mess, even if the dollar was trading at that. It doesn't negate that fact at all. So here's the bottom line, guys. We've got a completely different team with a completely different vision, a team that wants to see this country win. They're not going to do everything, and they're not perfect. And I love the point that President Hichilema brought out, and I want to bring it out to you as well. And this is something the PF love to talk about. The PF love, no, we did the roads, we did the bridges, we did the chite. But here's the thing, guys. Whose money did they use to do the roads? Did the money belong to the PF? No. Did the money belong to former President Lungu? No. The money belongs to you and I. The money belongs to Mr. and Mrs. John Q. Taxpayer, AKA you and I, the taxpayer. So far be it from any administration to claim, no, we did our, you do your bit. That's all it is. You do your part as an administration. The PF had their rodeo. The Patriotic Front had their show. The PF had their circus. Well, that time has passed. Now we've got a brand new administration with a new vision, a new direction, a new trajectory. The sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be. But the moment you are stuck in this, no, akabuerapo, akesa, to do what? To do what? Their time has passed. To the left, in the words of Beyonce, to the left, to the left. Let Hakainde do his thing, okay? And once he's done serving, because that's what it is. In the PF, there was nothing like serving. It was all about taking. Once they're done serving, then this administration, this president is going to pass on the baton to the next leadership, and then they'll do their thing, okay? All right, so I'm going to say about that. Secondly, Bowman. Oh, bless him. Bowman cries foul. Did you guys hear this? Did you hear about this? Tell me in the comments if you heard about this. Did you hear about this? Bowman apparently wrote a letter to Amnesty and the Human Rights Commission complaining that I'm being persecuted, meaning himself, saying that, oh, this Hakainde Hichilema and his watchmen, they're persecuting me. Well, let's be clear. Bowman is not being persecuted, but he will be prosecuted. And there's a difference. Oh, honey, there's a difference. The moment you begin to use those two words interchangeably, honey, you're in trouble. He's not being persecuted. He's not being unjustly hindered or unjustly bothered or unjustly mistreated. That's the wrong narrative. He's being prosecuted, or at least he will be at some stage. That's where that is going. Now, to hear Bowman talk about what he's talking about, and when you begin to compare the two Bowmans, because there was a Bowman prior to the elections, and then there's a Bowman after the elections. The Bowman prior to the elections was one that was boastful and one that said, no, Hakainde will never be the president over my dead body. If Hakainde becomes the president, I'm going to sell my house and all that blobbity, blobbity, blob. Well, Hakainde became president. Bowman changed goalposts. He says, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Can you imagine had the PF won? Do you think Bowman would have turned around and said, no, I didn't say that? Bowman would have said, I did say that. And had Hakainde Hichilema, Bowman would have said, you see, this Hichilema is lost. That's why I said I'll sell my house. I'll give you my house if he loses. See, it's just all trickery. So Bowman's wasting his time with all this nonsense about writing amnesty and the Human Rights Commission. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Oh, honey, give me a break, Bowman. Give me a break. All right, here it is. Next, lastly, can we talk about Harry Kalaba's new apparel? You know what apparel is? Apparel is clothing. Well, you know, he's launched his new, I don't know, brand of political regalia, I guess. It says on there HK, and, you know, it's got the number 8, presumably. He thinks that he will take over from Hakainde Hichilema, which is possible. I mean, that's very possible. You know why? Because he's a Zambian citizen. He's qualified to run as president. You know, he's a smart guy. So it's not impossible for him to be president. The only trouble I have is that he's putting, and I have to put this out there, he's putting the horse before the cart. Tell me in the comments below if you guys know what this expression means. Tell me if you know what this expression means. Harry Kalaba is putting the horse before the cart. Here it is. He's just come out of a wrangle from his previous party. Okay, so he's no longer with the, what was it, the DP, was it? Tell me again in the comments. I should know that, but I don't. Harry Kalaba has just been, in a sense, he's been hounded out of his former party. So currently, he has no official standing with any party, at least not that I know of. Okay. So how in the world is he going to start printing T-shirts about him being the 8th president when he's not a party, he's not a president of any political party that I know of. He has not aligned himself with any major opposition political party. But here it is. He's got T-shirts that say Harry Kalaba, 8th president in 2026. That is putting the horse before the cart. Now, for those of you that do not understand what that means, and what's this again? This is Paul. This is pretty much the same thing. Paul says he's counting the eggs before they hatch. True, very true. You know, this is what it means to put the horse before the cart. Something that is done contrary to the natural or normal effective sequence of events. For example, if you're counting from 1 to 5, you count in sequential order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when you put the horse before the cart, you count from 1 to 4. You haven't followed the sequence. So basically what I'm saying is that if Harry Kalaba is serious about a stab at the 2026 election, he should get his house in order. He should, first of all, be aligned with a major political party that has structures throughout the country, not just on paper, not just on Facebook, not just on TikTok, not just on Twitter. He has to have organs and structures in every major district in the country. He has to have organs and structures and representatives in every province of this country. He has to have a well-oiled campaign machine juggernaut that will not only present his name before the Zambian people, not only his credentials, not only his dexterity, but his ability throughout the whole nation. Now, I've shared with you before. Do you know how much money it takes? This was 20 years ago. Okay. 20 years ago, do you know how much it costs to run for president in this country? $5 million. You need $5 million at least to run an effective campaign nationwide. If you don't have that, if you don't have the mechanism, if you don't have the representation, if you don't have the people on the ground, if you don't have structures in these districts and provinces, you're shooting in the dark. You don't know what the hell you're doing. That's a pipe dream. Come on, be serious. Forget printing of the t-shirts. Get to work and do your thing. Now, again, I'm not saying Harry Kalaba can never be president. Of course he can. He's a Zambian citizen. He can get a stab at that. He can. But he shouldn't put the horse before the cart. He has to do things in sequential order. Then he stands a chance, maybe. Okay? All right. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless. Bye.